Good morning, my dear friends. Happy Tuesday for me. Happy whatever day it is for you. I hope this finds you well. Cheers. Happy coffee. Yeah. Why am I in my studio and not on my porch? Mosquitoes. Okay. Yes, mosquitoes. My porch is just covered in them. I'm going to have to get something out there. Just not comfortable, even though I had a jacket, because yeah, it's +7 out today. It feels like +7. It is +7 and it's going to 17. Lots of sevens in there, but not where I want them to be. Not that warm. Probably still going for a walk today, but I've got a lot to do today, so I wanted to get this morning hey how you doing thing out of the way. I do have, you've read the title, yes, Dave is back, my health is up. I want to talk about that, but first I want to talk about gold panning. Why? Just because I want to bring that forward as something that I really enjoyed all my life. So first, let's all pile in the bus and go on that trip to the past. Kind of cute, eh? Yeah, to top that off, here is a picture of my dad. Handsome man, that guy. That was quite a long time ago. CBC, Canada's leading news agency, or whatever you want to call it, Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, did an entire story on my dad and placer mining. That was probably the main theme growing up. Almost every weekend was spent in the bush. From the time the bush got warm enough to spend time in it till the time it started to get cold. From spring to fall, we would go every single year, and we would go and dig out some of the deepest, darkest places in BC. Yes, my dad went and got a BC Gold Rush map, and we went on a multi-year trip, going out on weekends, sometimes taking a week or two, and hiking and backpacking and carrying cans and sluice boxes and suction dredges and all that stuff, depending on where we went. If it was too much in the bush, it was a lot of gold panning. If we could drive there instead of walk there, we always had our big sluice boxes and suction dredges, but those things you don't take out unless you've already found color in the ground. And you know what? Most of it was just a lot of fun. The only thing that I have left from those days is this wonderful little nugget of gold. You can see it there. It's hard because it's hard to see because of the water and because it is heavy and going to stay right at the bottom. But that's the only nugget I have left. My dad has quite a few still. He hit a spot for a little while near Cherryville, BC, where he was pulling quite a bit of gold for a while. And then it dried up. So he's had a couple of claims. I've never had a claim, but I can tell you, I could easily teach placer mining. My dad taught me everything about it. I love doing it. I don't think my back could take it, but it's one of the most fun things to do, and there's still a lot of gold out there. It's just getting harder and harder to find it. There are tricks as to which way does the river go? Which way might the river have gone many years ago? Those kinds of things. And where would the heaviest stuff settle? if it were being pushed by heavy water movement. That's when gold moves. Other than that, regular creek isn't going to move gold at all. I just thought I'd give you a little bit of a peek into my history. Get you to know the old guy a little bit more, and then. So we need to move on now to the next part of this, where I talk about Dave. Pitter patter. Let's get at her. What's all this about Dave? Okay, for my new subs, I gotta mention very quickly, I do this every time, is a little bit of background about what is Dave, who is Dave, why Dave. I have a very good friend, Erica. She is a clinical psychologist by education and by trade. And she told me that a very handy way of dealing with your anxiety is to name it. Give it a personality that's other than yours, because although it feels like it's a piece of you, it is a separate entity. It is not you. When anxiety takes over, you're not yourself. And it's about time you look at it and say, that isn't me. So I call mine Dave. I picked Dave because I've only had one or two Daves in my life, and the few I had didn't treat me very well. I sure didn't want to call him Mum. I wanted to give him a male name because he takes on many male characteristics. I wanted to give him a name that I didn't enjoy, that I didn't have good memories of. That way, when I say F off Dave, I mean it. I want him out of here. So I named my anxiety. What did that do for me? It actually gave me a new kind of communication with myself, a new kind of understanding that I am not fully responsible for Dave, except for the fact of pushing him away when he's there. That's who Dave is. And I said he's back. Was he gone? Does our anxiety ever leave us? And that's the next discussion that I want. Because I find that Dave doesn't hang around much when my health is really low. If I'm having, which I have had, incredible pain somewhere in my body, my mind is focused on that pain. It's funny because I still handle my day-to-day and my long-term thoughts. In fact, I handle them best. I handle those things in my life the best when I'm in pain, because it's look at them, handle it, move on, because my pain's taking first and foremost in my mind, but I know I gotta get some things done. It's almost like I'd say, hey, I'd like to be in pain all the time so I don't have to deal with my anxiety. Anxiety is not easier to deal with than pain. And it's not worse. It's just different. So for people like us who are chronic pain sufferers, who also suffer from anxiety, it can be a real up and down. The pain's up, anxiety's down. The pain's down, anxiety's up. I noticed it yesterday when I went on my walk and I did a hippie unplugged for the Patreon supporters. And I was talking down there and I was thinking, wow, I'm starting to feel a fair amount better. No wonder I'm more nervous. Even just talking to you guys, I get the nerve sweats. It's not hot in my house. I'm not feeling bad. I don't have to poop. But I'm sweating. And I'm not nervous. It's anxiety. My anxiety is click, click, Dave talking in this ear, and then he runs over to this ear, then he runs back to this ear. And then sometimes he just whispers from far away. And yes, that's how it feels. And I tell them over and over to F off. And I think I'm starting to understand it. I've talked it over with my doctor, and she tends to agree with me that while we're in heavy pain moments, or I shouldn't call them moments because they last days and days, while we're in transition from anxiety, while we feel a lot of pain, our mind has to focus on solving that pain. So when we take a turn and think about, oh, I got to pay this bill, or those things are still there, and they come forward, you handle them, and they go away because you're busy. You're busy with pain. Maybe your chest, maybe your shoulders, maybe your neck, maybe your head. Who knows? But the pain is first and foremost. So those things that can cause anxiety tend to be pushed to the side. This morning I had a very anxious morning. And then I sat there and I thought to myself, okay, think about the pain I've been having lately, and it's been heavy. The pain in my head. I don't have a headache. It's been days since I've taken an Advil. Okay, how about that tinnitus, the humming? And unless I try to listen for it, it's still there, but it's low. Unless I listen for it, I don't notice it. My shoulders, my neck, I've been almost no movement because of my neck. And it's feeling, I'm not going to move it too much, but it's feeling pretty good. So, okay. No wonder Dave is bugging me. So all morning, while I'm trying to figure out what kind of video to do for y'all, Dave keeps telling me, hey, have you paid your bills? Do you think you have enough money for Christmas? What about all those birthdays coming up? Oh, remember, your daughter Christy is putting her dog down this week. And all these things just come flooding back. And they're things that were there when I was in pain, but things that I spent very little time on. Now that pain doesn't take me away from them, they dwell. And I don't know the answer, my friends. Maybe you were hanging on saying, pretty soon Gord's going to tell us what to do about this. And no, I'm not, because I don't know. I'm thinking. I'm always thinking. I'm thinking the busier you can be, the less anxiety. You know what I mean? But therein lays the rub. I am on permanent disability, a permanent disability pension. I can't work. Being busy, well, I can do my walk. That takes a couple hours every day. I can do my nap. That takes an hour or so a day. And other than that, filling the day is really difficult. It was easier. Another reason, again, that Dave, another reason that Dave is hanging out, Pasha isn't here. Usually my mornings are, okay, what do I got to do for him today? I need to make sure I have lunch and supper. He doesn't like breakfast. I don't fight him on that. His school, making sure he's ready, making sure his work is caught up, all those things. Those are gone. Those are, he's actually in school right now, at his desk, at his mom's house. She's got that under control. The two of them have it nailed. They don't need my help. So I find myself in the back of that bus trying to find my way out. And there we go. Another talk about Dave. And that brings us all the way around to... Yeah, here we are at little known facts. Friends, I really enjoy this. I've even bought a book. It's going to be a month away that has I hope thousands of them. Couldn't preview the book. I took a chance. $20 book. But if you guys know of any places I can get more of these, I enjoy this part of my show, and I think a lot of you do too. Today I just went out and found some. This time I did little known facts about the autumn, or as they call it in the States, the fall. Fall is caused by the Earth's tilt, not our distance from the sun. When the northern hemisphere tilts towards the sun, we get warmer. When it tilts away, we get colder. Fall and spring are these times of transition. Just kind of an introduction into it, but weight gain. How many of you, like me, get heavier during the fall? Well, weight gain around this time of year may not be all about the food. Researchers have found, right there, the lack of vitamin D reduces fat breakdown and triggers fat storage. So the lack of sunlight has more to do with extra gain than all the pumpkin spice lattes. Well, at least some of it. Of course, you can't just drink a pumpkin spice latte 5 times a day. You're going to gain more than you do just because the sun's out, not out. So get more sun. In fact, I'm studying on ways to improve naturally the vitamin D during the winter, because it's very hard. You're covered up and the sun is the source. So I'm working on that, and when I find out more, I will share. And the final one, beautiful, beautiful. The colors of fall. They are caused, and I think I knew this when I was young, but now I know it again. They're caused by the amount of sugar in the leaves. Yes, the more red in the leaf, the more sugar that the leaf is storing. This is why maple trees are so vibrant. Evergreens don't change because their leaves have a thick wax covering that protects the chlorophyll in the leaves. There you go, my friends. Little known facts. I got it all done on a very, very stressful day that should have no stress. Friends, peace and cheers, love and harmony. Thank you for being a part of my day. Thank you for bringing me into your home to entertain you. And thank you for being my friend. Peace.